All right, everybody, we are live. 2 Minute of Football, our Super Bowl special, live from Tadaro's Pizzeria, downtown Greenville, 116 North Markley Street. Come on down and visit. I don't think that there's any room in the kitchen to order pizza at this point, but it is Super Bowl Sunday, and they've got a lot of orders going on back there. Also, I want to thank Plumbing and Pink, Rusty and Lynn Greer, 864-735-7014, and Chris Pryor, Service Realty, 864-380-0525. And Tadaro's Pizzeria number is 864-603-3500.
Get your orders in.
Next year, you're gonna have it memorized.
Yeah, I know. Next year, I'll have it memorized.
We're gonna have a banner next year.
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
Just hang it right there. That way I can just stare at it, or you can look at it. Anyway, to my right is Brandon Brady Fitzpatrick. To my left is Lee Mason. Unfortunately, John Tadaro is kind of busy at the moment because, like I said, it is Super Bowl Sunday, and it's a pizzeria with the best pizza in Greenville. So they are absolutely swamped, but try it on another day. I'll tell you that.
No, get your orders in right now.
All right. Yeah, you'll get it. All right. John says they'll get it in if you come down.
You make pizzas back there. I know how. Right?
But anyway, all right. Let's before we get into the whole Super Bowl thing, let's talk a little bit about some of the news that's been going on, some of the coaching, GM hirings, things like that. We touched on it last episode. But Ryan Nielsen was actually hired as the Falcons defensive coordinator. He was an assistant coach in New Orleans and was co-DC for the New Orleans Saints. We know about Frank Reich, but Carolina hired, how do you say that? Come on, how do you say it? Evero.
I like it. Evero.
As their defensive coordinator. He spent 1 year as the Broncos defensive coordinator. Before that entire staff was shit can.
Yeah, they look great.
The D was good.
Yeah. The D was good.
Yeah, the D was good. Yeah.
Jim Schwartz. Haven't talked about this name in God knows how long. I thought he was dead, to be honest. But he was hired as the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator.
So, as a little note, Jim Schwartz was someone that the Bills were thinking about hiring full-time as the head coach when Rex Ryan got fired, and I was all for it. Now, in hindsight 2020, I love McDermott. However, I was all about Jim Schwartz. He is a good defensive coordinator. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what he does with the Cleveland Browns, because they do have a pretty good defense on paper, and they have one of the best defensive ends.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
When he's not swinging helmets at people.
But we know what's going to happen though, because it's the Browns. So.
Yes.
Well,
it is the Browns.
It'll be a revolving door somehow.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Then we've got a common name who's been around for a while. Brian Schottenheimer replaces Kellen Moore in Dallas as the offensive coordinator. Schottenheimer Schottenheimer's been everywhere, right?
Isn't that basically like a Monday through? So it's like a Monday through Saturday job because he's not calling plays.
He was with the Jets. He was with the Chiefs. He was with the Chargers. Does
he get Sundays off? Does he just get to watch it at home?
I mean, and just the mere fact that they have to replace their offensive coordinator on their own fruition, like, it's just stupid. They should have never got rid of him.
Yeah, because Mike McCarthy's calling the plays. Right. So what's Schottenheimer going to do?
I guess he's going to just help install the game plan before the game, but on Sunday, who knows what he's going to do?
I mean, Kellen Moore was their boy genius, and they got rid of him.
Well, now what is the boy genius is now with the Chargers in the same capacity.
We talked about it last time. Like, you upgraded.
Yeah.
You really did.
Seriously. I agree. I just want to make sure our audio is working, fellas. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yep. So we kind of lost some audio before because our little lapel mics went dead. Well, honestly, I forgot to charge them. But anyway, let's go down the list here. Sean Payton, obviously, biggest news of the offseason as far as coaches go. Sean Payton goes to the Denver Broncos.
Sean, my man, I'm going to talk to you one-on-one. You can't get rid of Russell Wilson. So make it work.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
They're going to get rid of you before they get rid of him. They pay him too much money, and he's horrible, and I can't wait to – I love Sean Payton. I do. I think he's a great coach. He's built up Parcells Part 2. And I feel like that was just – I don't understand why he did that, why he picked the Broncos.
Do you think Russell Wilson's horrible?
I do.
No, I disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree 100%.
Well, we'll be
I think
next
Russell
year.
Wilson had a bad year, and I think he also had a bad coach in a new system.
Yes.
And so I think Sean Payton is better with quarterbacks than Pete Carroll. And look what Pete Carroll is able to do. So I think Sean Payton is going to turn around and make Russell Wilson the quarterback what he was in Seattle, and maybe better.
Coach,
exactly.
So, yeah.
Sean Payton is a quarterbacks guy.
And that's what it's all about.
He knows quarterbacks left and right. And I guarantee you Russell Wilson will be in the top 5 of quarterbacks next season under Sean Payton.
We shall see. I just don't believe it.
Or at least top 8.
I really do feel.
Yeah.
And then obviously a year in a new team and a new system isn't a good sample size. I will fully admit that. However, I just feel like these are Russell Wilson's true colors. He wanted his own office in the stadium. He's just very sidetracked on other things. And
well, I mean, he's got a hot wife. He's got other things going on.
But let's just see how much he focuses on football and wants to gear down to get better again. Now he has a great coach, Hall of Fame coach, Super Bowl winning coach. Let's just see how he's able to bounce back. Now, I want to be standard corrected. I want to be standard or corrected at that point. But let's just see. Next year, we'll be talking about it.
Absolutely. Because I know going into our fantasy football draft, when we do it next year, I'm definitely going to take a hard look at Russell Wilson again. Maybe not as my starter, but my backup, just to be like, hey, this guy may have be able to have another great season and elevate him to a starting quarterback. Because most people aren't going to touch him.
That's
most people
you might be able to get him in like the 10th round.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to be looking for. That is all. Sorry, we're getting food given to us.
Come on down.
Tadaro's Pizza.
Best pizza in Greenville.
Let's see. Somebody's wife is giving birth as we talk. Oh, wow. Offensive lineman, Nick, the Chiefs player, had twins today. His wife had twins. I shouldn't say he had twins. It's kind of difficult. Anyway,
in this day,
Houston, stop. Let's not go down the rabbit holes. Let's not go down the rabbit holes. All right, Houston, the Texans.
We have to offend someone on this podcast.
And we don't offend somebody. It's just not a good
This is not a party at all.
We'll see if the right name comes up.
Yeah, we still have, 75% of it left?
Yeah.
All right, Houston Texans. D'Amico Ryans, the former defensive coordinator for the 49ers, is now the head coach of the Texans. And they also hired 2 guys I have never, ever heard of. I got to be honest with you. Bobby Slowick is the offensive coordinator, and Matt Burke is the defensive coordinator. The Cardinals, Matt Burke was the Cardinals' defensive line coach, and Bobby Slowick was the 49ers passing game coordinator. There we go. Like we talked about before, the LA Chargers hired Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. The LA Rams hired Mike LaFleur as their offensive coordinator. Good luck with that guy.
I bet it'll still work.
It probably will.
I think Mike LaFleur wasn't the problem.
I agree.
QB.
Trust me, I agree. I agree 100%.
And I feel like it's going to be the same thing, kind of rewinding to the Houston Texans. Like, they got 2 49ers coordinating positions as coaching, and like, does the Houston Texans know who their quarterback is?
Yeah, they've got that. He was a rookie last year.
They're not going to stick with him. Yeah.
Davis Mills is
Davis Mills. Now, Davis Mills was surprising.
Oh, that's right. It was his
second
year.
He
actually did pretty well.
He was better his rookie year.
Teams. He was better. He was better his rookie year.
What teams did he almost beat? And I know that's kind of a weird statement, but he almost beat the Chiefs. He almost beat the Cowboys. There were about 2 or 3 other teams that he almost beat. So, is the coaching? I don't know, but I feel like they don't know who their quarterback is, and they're kind of they're putting the cart before the horse on that.
Probably Bryce Young. So.
Could be Bryce Young, yeah. We'll get into that stuff here in a few minutes. Vic Fangio is now the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins.
I heard that he's helping the Eagles.
I was going to mention that. He signed because he can't officially sign until after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, after the Super Bowl. But the NFL football year basically ends today, starts over tomorrow.
But
he signed a 2-week contract.
After,
he signed a 2-week contract.
Sometime in March.
Yeah,
And
something like that.
2 weeks after.
Yeah. But he signed a contract. He's been helping the Eagles with their defensive game plan for the Super Bowl on how to help them try and beat Pat Mahomes. Brian Flores is back. He is now the Vikings defensive coordinator.
Can't get any worse there.
Listen, went to Miami to Minnesota.
That defense was terrible.
Started from the bottom of your year.
Yeah. The Patriots hire Bill O'Brien from Alabama. Of course, Belichick brings back his
retread.
New Orleans Saints hired Joe Woods as their defensive coordinator. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
The Jets hired. God, can we just skip this one?
Hey,
it's actually not bad.
He did pretty well in Green Bay as a coordinator.
Yes.
He might
he's one of those guys.
I went into my whole diatribe. Going back to the Russell Wilson project, I guess. I feel like he just got a bad grunt of it. Like,
he's not a boss. He's a
coordinator.
He's a VP.
Yeah.
He's not the main guy.
Well, his only shot at being a head coach, I think he ran into a bad situation where you have this superstar quarterback who like is just he's a Barry Bonds in a way.
There's coaches that move on to be head coaches and are successful, and there are coordinators who aren't
should always be coordinators.
Correct.
He's probably
Jim Schwartz is one of those, like we talked about before. Rex Ryan is probably one of those. He's interviewing.
Yes, Rex Ryan got way too many chances as head coach, including. I mean, he was
Bills,
incestuous
Jets.
in the AFC East.
Right. I mean, there are a number of people who have tried to be head coaches who are meant to be a coordinator, and that's it. And that's just, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. A lot of these guys come from lineage of Shanahan, Belichick, Parcells.
Ryan.
Right. A lot of these guys come from lineage of big head coaches. They're coordinators. They get hired by another team, and they fail. That's just the way it is, unfortunately.
In layman's terms, not everybody's a player. Some are just wingmen.
So there you go. Yeah. As you can hear, the phone is ringing off the hook here. Every time I turn around, I hear the phone ringing. We're at Tadaro's Pizza, downtown Greenville. Come on by. They're still taking orders, I was told. They're still taking orders. I don't know how much longer that's going to be possible because I saw the line of tickets in that kitchen before we started, and it was pretty full. But anyway, 116 North Markley Street. Come on down and visit. Next up, San Francisco 49ers. I thought this guy did a good deal, and he got a raw deal in Carolina. And as you're a Panthers fan, and he went 6-6.
Yeah,
he went 6-6 with his star running back gets traded. His quarterback, his quarterbacks are terrible. Sam Darnold
and the trade never really worked out to his potential. Like the whole Baker Mayfield experiment really didn't pan out at all.
No, it did not.
Whether you like him or not, it just didn't happen.
So every head coach in the history of the Panthers has been a defensive coach.
Correct.
The owner was pretty much dead set on offense because that's where the league's headed. Most of the successful teams have offensive guru as the head coach, and then they hire the hotshot D coordinator.
Correct.
Well, the hotshot D coordinator was the guy, Avero in Denver.
Yeah.
So that's why Wilks is not there. It isn't because he didn't do a good job. I don't think he got necessarily a raw deal. It just happened that he was a D coordinator and he wasn't going to get the gig. So.
Yes, I agree. And that's why Sean McDermott will never win a Super Bowl with the Bills. Just saying.
Low blow.
But I'm being honest. He's a D coordinator.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. But
I mean, he has a good chance.
It's trending not to be that.
But good hire for San Francisco.
Yes, Steve Wilks, defensive coordinator. Yes, and for all your Bills Mafia, I did just say that.
I mean, I'm about to break this bottle over your head.
All right, the Titans have went on a hiring rampage. No, I'm just kidding. They got a GM, they got an offensive coordinator, as Tim Kelly, who was previously. He was promoted. Sorry, Tim Kelly was promoted to offensive coordinator. I'm assuming he was either the QB or passing game coordinator for them. All right, there are still some openings. For head coaches' jobs. Did you see? And he didn't say it per se.
I didn't see it.
He didn't say it per se, but he alluded to the fact
that the Cardinals are a dumpster fire.
And he didn't want to coach Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And that was Sean Payton.
And let me get off my little Russell Wilson diatribe. And Russell Wilson has potential to be a good quarterback. I'll give him that. Kyler Murray.
He's already
exactly.
The guy's got a Super Bowl.
Maybe I should word it like that.
He should have two.
Well, he should have two. But Kyler Murray, I would never want to coach him at all.
Well, so here's the problem. Yeah. So we'll talk about this list. Now look at this list that's in front. You have it as well. Look at this list of people who are interviewing. You've got the Bengals defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. You can cross him off the list. Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator. Vance Joseph, the Cardinals defensive coordinator. Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator. Sean Payton said go scratch and went to Denver. Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, said go scratch. I'm sticking around. Frank Reich got hired by the Panthers. D'Amico Ryan gets hired by the Texans.
So what's going to happen?
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential.
They're going to be on their 10th choice.
That's
I mean, it's a fire sale.
It's a dumpster fire.
Right.
I know what you meant.
Okay, Arizona, you're not going to get anybody you want.
So
no. This is my pitch.
Do you really? Let me ask you a question though. Do you really want Brian after the failed experiment in LA or in Oakland, wherever you want to call it? You want Brian Callahan as your head coach?
You're talking about Bill Callahan.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Don't mind me. That's right.
Yeah. No, really, what the Cardinals.
That must be maybe that's his son.
What the Cardinals should have done is not hire who they did for the GM. Let me do it, and give me complete control. Super Bowl in 8 years.
Okay,
I like that.
All right.
Now the first thing I would do is get rid of Kyler Murray. So
now look at this list.
So you just signed him.
No, I don't. I'd get rid of him somehow. I'll send him to.
I hear you.
But Arizona signed a GM.
I know they did.
Right.
I know they did.
Okay.
I'm just saying you should have done that.
So here we go. So we talked on the last episode about the Falcons defensive coordinator job, right? Now, I thought I may be wrong because I get saying
they hired Nielsen.
Right, they hired Nielsen, but didn't we say Vic Fangio may have been hired? That was the rumor at the time. I believe we did. But anyway, it is what it is. I I don't know how this is gonna.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do the rest of this because half of the stuff that you.
I mean, it's offensive coordinator.
They're already hired somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Jim Caldwell just got hired somewhere.
No, he didn't.
no, he didn't.
I thought he was.
No.
He doesn't want a coordinator position. He's only going to take a head coaching job.
Ken Dorsey is on this
Yeah,
list.
they interviewed him.
Jim Bob Cooter. Yeah, there we go.
He was at the Lions.
Yeah, Jim Bob.
Yeah.
Great name.
He could be the Panthers'
By the way,
offensive coordinator. That's
Since
what
we're
he
talking about
interviewed for.
coaches, can I just do a little?
Yeah, that's not
Hey, New Jersey, you're welcome for Brian Dable, Coach of the Year.
Hey,
You're welcome.
Can we do some Barstool Sports over here? Can I get a slice?
some bars.
Oh, one bite.
One bite. One bite.
Hey, I'm gonna try to get him in there. I'm gonna try to get him in here.
It's a regular.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
You got.
Anyways,
We got people watching. Yes, I know. but I still
hey,
wanna
yeah.
slice some
So,
pizza. You want a slice? You
yeah,
want
I'll
a
do a
slice?
pepperoni if there's one available.
All right.
Hey, Brian Dable, you're welcome, New York and New Jersey, for Brian Dable, Coach of the Year.
And Joe Shane.
Coach of the year.
Year.
By the
Brian
way,
Dable.
do you see who got the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year? The Jets, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Just saying.
Sauce Gardner definitely deserves it.
Garrett Wilson deserved it. Over Brock Purdy?
I mean, Brock Purdy went to the NFC Championship
Brock Purdy also
and got hurt.
didn't start until week something. or
I'm
other.
kind of
Oh, thank
surprised that he didn't get it because it's quarterback.
I agree.
Oh yeah, it's
I
usually
agree.
a quarterback
No, thank you.
thing.
That's my mom. Say hi, mom.
Carol Smith, everyone's mom.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Sauce, absolutely.
Mm.
That's the way to go.
One bite. Everyone knows the rules.
So while they're being disgusting on the air, let's skip through some of this garbage here.
I give it a 10. 10.
I'm just gonna set it over here.
Yeah,
It's
we already
still
talked
hot as literally just came out of the oven. You can still see it steaming, Willie beaming. All right.
So the Colts are going to take
Who-
Shane Steichen.
What?
Yeah, he's going to be their head coach, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah, that's what they're.
That's
I'm.
They're pretty much
Well,
negotiating
so here's
on the deal.
Here's the so. Irsay wanted to keep Saturday, and all the front office didn't want
They're like,
Saturday.
nah.
Yeah. So that was the deal with
And
that.
do the players actually want Saturday? Like, if you were to be a fly on the wall.
I think
I would
so.
think so.
I think so.
I think he's the players' coach.
Yeah, totally. I think so too.
I mean, just from watching him on ESPN and all that kind of, and his commentary, very player.
I mean, he was a
Oriented.
really good
From
offensive
what I've
lineman
heard,
for a really good
Irsay's
quarterback.
daughter is the one that made the call.
But
For
to
Saturday?
not hire him.
She's kind of the one doing a lot of the decisions now.
Well, Irsay's hammered.
Yeah. I mean, his face is beat red all
Yeah.
the time. So
Well,
Well, as much as I like Jeff Saturday as a person and as a center, Peyton Manning, he needs to start coaching somewhere else.
so
He
this
needs
is
to start-
interesting. This guy's probably going to lose his mind if he loses him. Joe Brady, the Bills quarterbacks coach, is going to be interviewing for the LA Chargers offensive coordinator position.
Now, he's supposed to be second in line once Ken Dorsey gets another job, would be Joe Brady.
I'd say get rid of both of them, honestly. No, seriously. I mean, Joe Brady was at the Panthers.
Yeah, he was in the
Terrible.
Panthers, yeah.
Now, granted, the offensive line was trash, but I don't know. I think he needs to go back to college.
Joe Brady was,
He was
also
really good at LSU.
LSU and Joe Burrow's quarterback coach.
He was amazing at LSU. I agree, 100%.
I mean, he wasn't the OC, but he was
No.
the
He was a good quarterback
Yeah,
coach, you know?
Yeah.
so-
All right. We've got that. Yeah, these are all hired
These are all
people.
done.
These are all done. Huh? Daniel Hackett. I love seeing this name.
Keenan McCardle.
It's, yeah, because remember Keenan McCardell? He was the wide receiver with the Jaguars for, I think, his whole career almost.
Jimmy Smith was there.
Yeah. Those guys were two peas in a pod. And it's great to see him. He's the Vikings wide receivers coach.
You got another Chris Smith here.
It's great to see. It's great to see his name on this list because I actually like Keenan McCardell a lot back when he was a player. All right, so let's get to the important stuff at hand here. I don't need this anymore. Put this over here. All right. Hey, Cody, while you're here, can we get to highlights, please, sir? All right. So, yeah, we took up half the show talking about these guys.
All right.
These guys. All right.
So we are Barstool Sports.
We are. Right. I wish we had a Frank the Tank, though. That's what we need to find.
He's that fat mess guy, right?
Yeah. He's a mess.
He is a mess. He is. The only thing they keep him around for is
comic relief. Absolute. You know what we're talking about, right?
I don't pay some.
Really?
No,
I love David Portnoy.
Anyway, all right. So let's talk about Super Bowl Sunday. Sitting here. Here are my observations. And we'll see what happens. I do not think Jalen Hurts is 100%. I believe his arm and his shoulder are still going to be an issue. I think you saw it in the NFC Championship game. He threw a bunch of passes that ended up at players' feet.
You literally said that it wasn't an issue last time.
I corrected him. I went back and watched tape.
Did you watch all 22?
But I believe that Jalen Hurts is not going to be 100% today.
You go back and watch tape.
I did. I went back and watched.
He went into the film room.
Yeah,
and broke it down.
New Jersey.
He was hanging out with Dan Orlovsky.
He read it. Yeah.
Sitting there going through all that.
I'm being serious.
Okay.
I went back. I watched the NFC Championship game again, and there are 15 to 18 passes that either hit the ground because they were short or ended up at players' feet.
So he looked like Daniel Jones.
And I think it's because of the shoulder. And there were no passes. If you look at the stats, not one pass over 20 yards.
So how valuable is 2 weeks on that?
I don't know. You're talking about a shoulder.
So
my shoulder's screwed up, and
so back to what you're saying, and what I thought about this earlier about the shoulder issue is whether you're, Frank Clark, Chris Jones, the first chance you have, well, what you do is you risk that silly body weight penalty and land on that shoulder full force and just see.
You think I hear what you're saying as a game plan kind of thing, but if it comes way too early, I wouldn't risk it that much because I feel like that would look intentional.
It is.
Well,
it's going to happen one way or another.
Because that penalty that they call, that's not really a penalty. Players have been doing that forever. I'm just saying, put the full force of your weight on them, just like any other sack, and just risk getting the flag.
I mean,
it's not a dirty play. I'm not saying like try to yank it out of socket or anything like that. I'm just saying a hard hit and complete it instead of letting up.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. I just feel like that could. I don't know. That would be interesting. I personally don't feel like it was his first game back in a while, and like I feel like he just needs to get adjusted. I feel like 2 weeks of practicing, getting adjusted to this, he's going to look better. Now,
look who's on that list. Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like 2 weeks without any brutal force on you, I feel like he's going to look good. I feel like this game is going to be very close. And I know we all say that and expect it and stuff like that, but I feel like this game is going to be a shootout. Patrick Mahomes is going to have to play out of his mind, which he probably will.
I agree.
And so will Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
I think this is, first of all, I will say, whatever you do, take the over. Because I think
for sure.
They're going to.
If you take the under,
you know what, though? Every time it seems like that's the case.
No, but this is.
Sure, no,
yeah,
totally.
but this more than.
But if you take the under, that means you're you're a football fan that doesn't want to see scoring.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think they're going to go over. And I will say this, while we talk about this, is that somebody somewhere in Vegas knows something, because it went from 1.5. The Eagles are favored. I'm ready for baseball season.
Yeah, they'll lose again.
To a pickle.
I just feel like 1.5 is already a pickle.
But that means heavy money is being put on the Chiefs. Heavy money is being put on the Chiefs. And so I would think that somebody in Vegas knows something.
Heavy money was already placed on both sides. It just evened out at the last minute.
Well, people know that in a big game, it's hard to go against the best player when he's the quarterback. So that's where the money's going.
Sure. I mean, in my opinion, as much as I respect the Kansas City Chiefs and kind of have to, they're my daddy. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes is no one to bet against.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree 100%.
So I feel like the Eagles got all the bets, and it was a 1.5 at one point because of their record. And they dominated teams all year, besides the 3 weeks that Jalen Hurts was out.
John, you got 1 minute. Come over here. All right.
I think a lot of that too is because the Eagles have the most depth and they're the best overall roster.
Sure.
The Chiefs are more top heavy with the talent and don't have as much.
Well, hello, everybody. How are you?
John Todara's Pizza. All right, John, real quick. Who do you think's going to win?
Can I say who I think is going to win and who I want to win?
Yes.
They're totally separate.
Do your hot take.
Who
Hot take
I
with
think
John.
is going to win is the Kansas City Chiefs. Who I would like to win is Jalen Hurts. Philadelphia Eagles.
But
I'd like to see Jalen do it.
You're an NFC guy.
It doesn't matter.
The
I told you
Eagles are
I'm not a
terrible.
fanatic, as I've said to you before. Even though I'm a fan, I fall short of the fanatic thing. I'm
All right.
not. The Dallas Cowboys victory doesn't pay my rent.
Well,
Or
there you go.
neither- and neither does
and
the
you
loss.
wouldn't be paying rent.
Nicely said.
Oh, we paid rent since the 90s?
Yeah, right. 95.
All right. He's got to go back and make pizzas. They're really busy, but I wanted to get that since he was standing right here. But yeah, so he thinks the Chiefs are going to win, but he wants the Eagles to win. I'm the total opposite. I think the Chiefs are going to win, and I want the Chiefs to win.
I said I think the Chiefs.
Are we calling
Go
it?
ahead. Say what you think will happen.
All right. I want the Eagles to win. That's why I'm wearing my green. I do not want Patrick Mahomes to have 2 over Josh Allen.
Oh, Lord.
It's going to be very hard to catch up to that. But I think the Chiefs are going to win. Yeah.
So I think if somehow the game's a blowout, I think the Eagles are the only team that can blow the other out. But I think it's going to be close. And I think, like I said the last show, I think Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones are the top 3 players, but the Eagles probably have 4 through 10 or 4 through 12 before you get to Frank
more
Clark or
leveled
whatever.
out.
Yeah, but everybody forgets. Real quick point. Everybody forgets that they're getting Edwards-Helaire back.
That means nothing to me. McKinnon and Pacheco
Yeah, I mean,
are better.
they can have a great game or they can have a crappy game.
So, but
So it all
I think
depends.
I think what overcomes that talent and that depth is 15. And because 15 can do things that most other people can't, I'm taking the Chiefs, and I want the Chiefs. So,
All right. So, anything else while we make this episode. You're locked out there.
Yeah, golf season is upon us after this
baseball
game.
Season.
I mean, golf season.
Baseball spring training starts here in a couple weeks.
March
not even
March
month. Yes. All right. I want to thank our sponsors for this season: Plumbing and Pink, Rusty and Lynn Greer. This is their second season that they sponsored us. You can reach them at 864-735-7014. I really wouldn't be able to. The second one I should know by heart, but Chris Pryor, my buddy of Service Realty, 864-380-0525, who's also in his second year of being a sponsor of this show. And then I want to thank John and Tadaro's Pizza for coming in and sponsoring the show and letting us do it here, which is great because
it's been fun.
It's an absolutely great atmosphere here. I like it much better than
other places.
Because we don't have people yelling at us, music being turned up. You'd think it was Dance Party USA in the places.
Like table 13, your table's ready. It's like Love's gasoline, your shower's ready.
Hopefully we will have a draft special in April, talking about the draft and the players and kind of going over where we think people will go and who going where, and
that one will be fun.
Yeah, that's always a fun one.
I love drafts. I really do.
I'm a big draft guy too. Dork out on that stuff. And then we'll have a free agent special, which will be in July, right before free agency kicks off. And then hopefully we'll be back.
That's training camp.
Training camp, yeah.
Well, training camp's August, but
agency starts
right
in March. Right before the draft.
I feel like, all right, so it's right before the draft. Yeah. Right before the draft.
All right.
And so we should do a back-to-back thing. Draft.
We'll do a free agency.
Conclusion of free agency obviously doesn't end. However, it really finishes at the draft.
Yeah.
Like if you want the really top ones, you got them by the draft.
First day.
Right.
I believe we are.
All right. Well, this has been 2 Minutes of Football, our Super Bowl special. I want to thank these two guys who have been with me all season long, Brandon Brady Fitzpatrick and Lee Mason. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Let's go Chiefs. Oh, yes. I'm down with that.
Fly Eagles, fly.
Baby, who is dead? This guy comes in and don't mind him. All right. And thank you. And come grab some pizza down here at Tadaro's.
Awesome.